Hey guys, Steve Good here with the Scroll Saw Workshop. I've got a little ring here for you tonight that I'm going to show you what we're going to do with, and it looks kind of dangerous, but it does serve a purpose. When you're getting ready to insert your scroll saw blade into your interior hole to make an interior cut, there's two ways to do that. One is you can loosen the blade from the top clamp and feed the blade from the bottom. And of course you can also loosen the blade from the bottom clamp and feed the blade down through the top. And you really probably should learn to do it both ways and become comfortable with both ways. But if you're a bottom feeder, like many people are, and you have a small board like this, typically what you'll do is you'll flip the board to the side and you'll line the blade up with your interior hole, which sometimes can be very small because in real delicate fretwork, sometimes we have to drill very small holes. So the bigger your blade is, obviously, the easier it is, and the smaller the board is, the easier it is because you can see under there. Now, what happens, and again, this is still not a very big board, but I can at least show you an example here. What happens is you'll eventually get to the point where the board is so big that you can't get it tilted up far enough to where you can see the hole and get the bottom of the blade up to that hole. So what you end up doing is a lot of times you end up just feeling. You'll just move the blade around and you'll keep moving it, and eventually you'll find that hole and get it up through there. Well, that's where this little pointy ring comes in handy. To get yourself started, you can just flip this ring, you just keep it on your finger while you're working, it's not in your way at all. When you get ready to do it, you just drop that brass wire back down through the hole. Then you can reach under there and you know exactly where the hole is, because as you grab the blade with these two fingers, you go up and you find that little brass rod and you just line it up right up to the hole. And it gets you a lot closer than you might have been. In some cases, you can be a half an inch to an inch off if your depth perception isn't really good. So you just drop that little blade down through there, and then you just pull the blade right up through it. So won't come in handy for every project, because a lot of times you're doing small projects and it's just easier to flip the board over and look at the hole on the bottom. But it's definitely easier when you get a large board than trying to bend over and look up underneath the board. And that's what you'll do a lot of times. You'll get the board down here and then you'll bend your head way down over here to the side so you can see up under there, which is just not convenient at all. So little handy tool here. I'll put a pattern in the description for it. Not that you need much of a pattern, but I just used some Baltic birch plywood to cut out the ring and the little plate right here. And this is just a piece of fairly coarse copper wire, and I just simply drilled a small hole, put the wire into the piece, and then a dab of super glue. It doesn't take a lot of stress, so you don't have to get it in there real tight or anything. Just this little super glue was enough to hold it in there. So anyway, little helpful tool. I'm Steve Good. Thanks for being here with me at the Scroll Saw Workshop.